Today, we're diving into a topic that's both fascinating and a little unnerving: sociopathy. Now, before we jump in, let's get one thing straight. This video isn't a diagnostic tool. If you're genuinely concerned about your mental health or someone else's, please consult a professional. With that out of the way, let's explore 7 scenarios that might make you wonder, am I a sociopath? Or is that person in my life showing sociopathic tendencies? Picture this. You're at the annual office party. Your coworker, let's call her Sarah, trips and spills her drink all over herself. The room goes quiet, and all eyes are on her. How do you react? A typical response might be feeling secondhand embarrassment or rushing to help Sarah clean up. But a sociopath? They might struggle to understand why everyone's making such a big deal. They could even find the situation amusing, failing to empathize with Sarah's humiliation. You see, sociopaths often lack empathy, that ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they're feeling. It's not that they're intentionally cruel, they just don't emotionally connect with others' experiences. Picture this. Your friend lends you a book they absolutely adore. You promise to return it next week, but months go by, and you still haven't given it back. How do you feel about this? Most people would feel guilty, maybe even anxious about disappointing their friend. A sociopath, however, might not feel bad at all. They could come up with elaborate excuses without a hint of remorse, or simply not care about breaking their promise. This touches on another trait of sociopathy: a disregard for social norms and obligations. Sociopaths often struggle to understand or care about the unwritten rules that govern social interactions. Picture this. You've got a brilliant business idea, but it's pretty risky. Your partner is hesitant, worried about potential financial ruin. How do you approach this situation? A sociopath might push forward regardless of their partner's concerns, potentially lying or manipulating to get their way. They tend to be impulsive and have a high tolerance for risk, often disregarding the potential negative consequences for themselves and others. This isn't to say that every entrepreneur or risk-taker is a sociopath. The key difference is in how they handle others' concerns and whether they consider the impact on those around them. Picture this. Your significant other asks if you like their new haircut. You absolutely hate it. What do you say? Many people might tell a white lie to spare their partner's feelings. A sociopath, on the other hand, might tell the brutal truth without considering the emotional impact. Or they might lie effortlessly, not because they care about their partner's feelings, but because it's easier than dealing with the fallout of honesty. Sociopaths are often skilled liars. They can fabricate elaborate stories without the telltale signs of deceit that most people exhibit. This ability to lie without remorse or anxiety is a hallmark of sociopathic behavior. Picture this. You're reminiscing about childhood pets with friends. Everyone's getting teary-eyed talking about their beloved furry companions who've passed on. How do you feel during this conversation? While most people would feel a mix of nostalgia and sadness, a sociopath might feel nothing. They could even get bored or annoyed by everyone else's emotional display. This doesn't mean they were cruel to animals as children, although that can be a warning sign, but rather that they struggle to form deep emotional bonds, even with pets. This emotional shallowness extends to their relationships with people too. Sociopaths can have friends and romantic partners, but these relationships often lack the depth and emotional intimacy that most people expect. Picture this. You're up for a promotion at work, competing against a colleague you've known for years. You discover some dirt on them that could ruin their chances. What do? A sociopath might not hesitate to use this information, regardless of the potential damage to their colleague's career or personal life. They often have a win-at-all-costs mentality and may view relationships as transactional, useful only as long as they provide some benefit. This scenario also highlights the sociopathic trait of lacking a strong moral compass. While most people have internalized ethical standards, sociopaths tend to view morality as a set of arbitrary rules that others follow, rather than deeply held personal convictions. Now, you're asked where you see yourself in 5 years. How detailed is your answer? Sociopaths often struggle with long-term planning and setting realistic goals. They might have grandiose ideas about their future success, but lack concrete plans to achieve them. This ties into their impulsivity and tendency to live in the moment without considering future consequences. So, what does all this mean? Are you frantically tallying up how many of these scenarios resonated with you? Hold up there, detective. Remember, sociopathy, or to use the clinical term, antisocial personality disorder, is a complex condition that requires professional diagnosis. These scenarios are just simplified illustrations of some traits associated with sociopathy. It's also crucial to understand that sociopathy exists on a spectrum. Some individuals might display a few of these traits without meeting the full criteria for a diagnosis. And let's not forget, many of these behaviors can also be symptoms of other conditions, or even just situational responses. Here's another plot twist for you. Some degree of sociopathic traits can actually be advantageous in certain situations. The ability to make tough decisions without being overwhelmed by emotion, for instance, can be useful in high-pressure jobs like surgery or crisis management. The key is balance and context. But what if you're genuinely concerned that you or someone you know might be a sociopath? First, don't panic. Having some of these traits doesn't automatically make someone a villain from a thriller movie. However, if these patterns of behavior are consistent and causing problems in relationships or daily life, it's worth seeking help from a mental health professional. Treatment for antisocial personality disorder typically involves long-term psychotherapy. While there's no cure, therapy can help individuals develop better coping mechanisms, improve interpersonal relationships, and manage impulsive behaviors. For those dealing with a potential sociopath in their life, setting clear boundaries is crucial. Remember, you're not responsible for changing or fixing them. Prioritize your own mental health and well-being, and don't hesitate to seek support if you feel manipulated or emotionally drained. In conclusion, the human mind is incredibly complex, and labels like sociopath often oversimplify that complexity. While it's fascinating to explore these psychological concepts, it's important to approach them with nuance and empathy. After all, understanding the full spectrum of human behavior and emotion is what makes us, well, human. So, did this video leave you questioning everything about yourself and everyone around you? Good. A little self-reflection and curiosity about the human mind never hurt anyone. Just remember, pop psychology videos are no substitute for professional help if you're genuinely concerned. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive into the sociopathic mind. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with that friend who always beats you at board games without remorse. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating world of human psychology.